Okay. All right, looks like we're live. Welcome, everyone. All right, everything looks good on my end. Let's jump in with starting to prayer for spiritual workers. Just open up the class and then we'll move into announcements and to today's material. Prayer for spiritual workers. Almighty God, I bless all those who, because of their limitations, would smite me. Almighty God, I bless all those who, because of their weakness, would not heed me. Almighty God, I bless all those who, because of their ignorance, would defile you through me. And I ask, Almighty God, O wondrous power, that your strength may be given to me now, so that I might be fortified by this, so that I might go forward bravely into the world, and despite reception, send forth my love of thee throughout all races of man. Almighty God, give me the power and strength to rise above my karmic weakness, the deficiencies in the pattern of my evolution, so that I might evolve and become stronger, I, and even stronger, in thy everlasting light. O God, thy will be done. All right, welcome everyone to class 4 of our series on prayer. Today we will be finishing up chapter 3 of the text, The Miracle Kit Behind the Power of Prayer, the Mystic Knowledge of Manipulating the Subtle and Cosmic Energies of Prana through Prayer Techniques. And as I mentioned last time, the book is available, purchased on Amazon. You can also read a sample. And in the preview, I think they have chapters 1, 2, 3, and then 11 and 12. You can also find more information about the book on our MeetUp page. So in our MeetUp group, the My Metaphysical Study group, you can have access to all of our class announcements. And in each announcement, they're titled as events. You'll see links that'll take you to the books, either on Amazon or even by the publisher, as well as a free preview via Google Books. So that's the preview that I've been using, or but you can also use a preview on Amazon. Both have, I believe, the same material. And we finished chapter 1 and chapter 2. And last session, we started chapter 3. We should finish up chapter 3 today. And then in subsequent sessions, we will move on to a study of a couple of examples of prayer, namely being the prayers we use in the beginning and the end of each session, the prayer for spiritual workers, and the New Lord's Prayer as given through the yogic mediumship of Dr. Shri Yogiriji George King. And information about that is also in the meetup announcement, where you can follow these links. It'll take you to the Aether Society website and give you more information about who Dr. George King was and the yogic mediumship he used to bring transmissions such as the prayers given by the Master Jesus through. Just a couple of announcements. Next class, next week, sorry, July 7th, there will be no class. That Monday, July 8th, is the prime initiation of Earth, which is one of the major holidays that we celebrate in the Dear Society. But the following week, I believe that's July 14th, we will continue with our study of prayer. And we may take up, I believe, maybe the prayer for spiritual workers first, and then the following session we'll do the New Lord's Prayer, and then we'll have one more session to wrap everything up and field any questions. We have a Q&A session on prayer and the manipulation of subtle energies. All right, so do we have any questions or comments before we move into today's material? I will be able to see the chat this time, and there will be any delay, so there shouldn't be any issues on my end. And as per usual, if you have any questions or comments, it doesn't necessarily have to pertain to what we're talking about, prayer, manipulation, subtle energies. Any metaphysically related questions or comments you may have, you can feel free to post them in the chat, and we'll do our best to respond to those for you. So today we will pick up where we left off. We introduced the 8 components of the mystic prayer technique, and so now we'll go into a bit more detail of each of the 8 components. And then after we complete the reading of chapter 3, I'll close up with a couple more diagrams that illustrate the 8 components. This is a fairly recent diagram that Nehemiah put together. The 8 major components of the mystic prayer technique. It just visually represents information described in the book. We'll take a look at this diagram, which illustrates the 8 components. And then we'll finish up with an actual collection of prayer diagrams to talk about the power of love energy and further illustrates and describes the prayer techniques. And then that will wrap up our study, our introductory study of the text. And will lay the groundwork for us to move into an actual study of the prayers in the next session. All right, if there are no questions or comments, welcome everyone who just joined us. Let's go into today's reading. Again, this is the second part of chapter 3 of the Miracle Kit prayer book. So, the Jnana Yoga component of the mystic prayer technique. Jnana or Jnana Yoga and its meaning. The Sanskrit word Jnana means knowledge or wisdom, and the Sanskrit word yoga means union with God. Therefore, Jnana Yoga stands for the yogi philosophy and science that unites those students with God through wisdom. Jnana Yoga offers students of this yoga the metaphysical science of intelligent movement based on karmic law. Jnana Yoga is the background matrix platform for a series of karmic laws. Chitta, which is a cloud of thought patterns influenced by directional intelligence, by Jnani and Karma, dictates a localized stream of prana to carry out a series of karmic lessons for a cycle of life to the next cycle of life. Jnana Yoga intelligence of the mystic prayer method. The mystic prayer technique was brilliantly designed by utilizing the Jnana Yoga science of knowledge so that anyone can use this technique. Anyone who is properly trained, regardless of their age, can be taught to harness the subtle cosmic energies through the use of the yoga science applied to this prayer technique. The mystic prayer technique allows a person to be taught how to seal cosmic energies, redirect cosmic energies, and distribute those subtle cosmic energies in a mental pattern within your auric structure for a brief moment in order to impregnate them with the intended purpose and direction of the prayer. Then use the yogi science and techniques for the projection of those mental vital energies to the intended target area or person, or group of people or situation that you are trying to bring relief to. The Jnana intelligence is used as a platform for designing the mystic prayer technique. The Jnana Yoga platform is built to bring together cooperative balance for the following yoga sciences to work in unison on this Jnana platform. 1. Karma. 2. Bhakti. 3. Raja. 4. Pranayama. 5. Mantra. 6. Mudra. And 7. Kriya. The Jnana metaphysical science of man's makeup. Jnana Yoga wisdom maps out the mystic makeup of man and his relationships with the absolute God. The I am of man is the real self, which is known as the spirit in mystic circles. Now, this spirit of man is described as a divine spark of God. Spirit is unmanifested because it was never created. It was always present with the absolute God. For man, spirit is that source connected to the all in all, that all knowledge space and the endless potential of everything. Spirit is the background canvas on which man's entire existence is dependent. Spirit is the divine spark of God, following the will of God and its directive, created a vehicle for itself called the soul and considered to be the I of man. This soul became the traveling aspect for the spirit, to move down through the manifested universe in an involutional state of consciousness, and then back to the source in an evolutional state of consciousness. The soul then moves to build a complex, indestructible vehicle of expression to travel through countless cycles of experience. The first body or vehicle of expression for the soul is the auric body, an indestructible body designed to last for eons of time. This auric body is made out of the highest subtle material and exists on all realms of consciousness and existence. Every other aspect of the soul is developed to exist within the auric body's influences. The following table lays out the known structure for the mystic makeup of man. Table 3-2, a brief statement on the mystic makeup of man, with the named expressions on the right, and then a brief statement on the mystic makeup of man. 1. The spirit. The I am of man is the real self, which is known as the spirit in mystic circles. Now, the spirit of man is described as a divine spark of God. Spirit is unmanifested and stationary. It is the point of all knowledge space and the source of endless potential for the soul during its journey of involution to evolution. Number 2, the soul. The I of man is the soul and the traveling body for the spirit. The soul was created by the spirit. The soul is the body made from the highest specification of the manifested universe. And the soul is that aspect of spirit that lasts throughout the involution and evolution process of the manifested creation, indestructible, only to be dissolved back into spirit. Number 3, the auric body. The first body or vehicle of expression for the soul is the auric body, an indestructible body designed to last for eons of time. This auric body is made out of the highest subtle material and exists on all realms of consciousness and existence. Every other aspect of the soul is developed to exist within the auric body's influences. The soul pulls on cosmic energies, Shakti, and wraps this cosmic substance around itself in layers of magnetic configurations to attract streams of universal chakra realms of consciousness to reinforce its existence. The auric ovoid-shaped body has at least 108 vortex centers of power, the chakras, to link it to the universe. Therefore, the auric body has the ability to pull on the endless potential of the spirit, absolute. Number 4, the chakra system. The chakra system is a series of vortex centers tied into the universal consciousness that expands itself throughout the manifested existence of God. Within the auric body, there are 108 chakras or vortex centers of consciousness and power that recycles the mind energies and vital energies of the universe. There are a series of minute chakras, minor chakras, and major chakras. These chakras are configured to intake highly potent subtle energies from multiple realms of existence. This is done through an arrangement of sacral subtle sound vibrations concentrated around a bindu, a sacral point of consciousness, which makes itself present in every chakra. The Shakti modification to Kundalini. A sacred aspect of cosmic energy, Shakti, goes dormant at the base of the spine to bring about basic consciousness as we know it. It is the primary life force within all the subtle bodies and gross physical bodies that gives the power of consciousness and the ability of movement. 6. The Nadi system. The Nadi system is a series of thin, sonic, tube-like vibrations that surround the manifested points of man's soul. These thin tubes act like sonic vibrations that make thousands of geometric patterns around these manifested points of the soul, which creates a magnetic web that draws on the all-pervasive cosmic energies and the universal mind substance that brings these two mighty forces into gross manifestation. Number 7, the mental body. The mental bodies is made up of a series of organized opposite subtle energy flows that intersect on every major chakra level through the chakra petals known in Sanskrit as bijas. This opposite flow of energies is the Pingala nadis, a positive flow, and the Ida nadis, a negative flow. When these two subtle energy flows intersect at the major chakra levels through the petals, levels of consciousness are formed. The known levels of consciousness are: number 1, the superconscious mind. This level of consciousness is utilized by the soul to manage all levels of embodied consciousness from the upper 3 chakra levels Sahasrara chakra, Ajna chakra, and the Vishuddha chakra. Number 2, super conscious mind. The superconscious mind operates as the higher self for man. It is the background guiding source of intelligence for the two states of mind listed below. Number 3, subconscious mind. The subconscious mind controls all involuntary functions of the astral and physical body. It is the background operating system for the basic functions. It is the Diva laboratory for all basic functions and consciousness. Number 4, conscious mind. The part of man's mind that is recognized as man's self-conscious daily awareness. It is the basic conscious mind that is constantly being used on a day-to-day basis and utilized to access the subconscious mind, and is a tool to merge all three levels of mind by various yoga and metaphysical techniques. Number 8, the prana formation. The prana formations within the body. There are 5 major pranas within the auric structure that feed all the bodies via the chakra system and nadi system. The following are the 5 major pranas. 1. Apana. This prana travels from the base of the spine towards the heart and back. Number 2. Vyana. This major prana travels throughout the entire body. Number 3. Samana. This major prana is located at the solar plexus where it remains, or it stays. Number 4. Prana. This prana travels from the heart down to the base of the spine and back up. Number 5. Udana. This prana travels from the throat through the head, arms, and legs. Number 9. The etheric body. The etheric body is a subtle body that is made up from the upper major chakras along the spine from the heart chakra and up. The heart chakra, throat chakra, Christ chakra, and crown chakra produces the mind and vital energies that configures the etheric bodies for the major realms associated with the chakras. Therefore, these are the advanced subtle bodies made from the mental energies and vital energies radiating from the upper chakras, which are the heart chakra, throat chakra, Christ chakra, and crown chakra. The soul designed the etheric body to live and operate on the higher subtle realms of these upper chakras, which are listed above. Number 10, the astral body. The astral counterpart that we possess during our gross physical incarnation is made up from the mind and energy configuration from the solar plexus chakras, Manipura chakra, down to the base of spine chakra and beyond. The astral body can be described as a subtle counterpart made out of astral material, which is a matter that has a vibrational cycle that is so fast and fine in nature that it cannot be seen or detected by the naked eye. Yet it can take up the same space as the gross physical body, matter, without measure, detection, or distortion. This subtle astral body means a body not made out of gross physical matter, but made from subtle physical matter. Subtle matter has a greater response to mental energy substances with a different vibrational cycle of subtle physical density, which utilizes mental energies and subtle cosmic energies well beyond the capacity of physical matter. Number 11, the physical body. In the ancient mystic teachings, the gross physical body is looked at as an expression of the multiple major components that come together to build this gross vehicle of expression. Therefore, the gross physical body is a combination of the expressed will of the spirit, the soul, the auric body chakra system, the Shakti expressed through the signatures of Kundalini, the Nadi system, and the mental bodies that shape and mold the pranas and various levels of matter into the etheric and astral bodies. Today's gross physical body represents the lowest physical realms of gross matter within the solar system and galaxy. These physical realms of the earth are considered like the desert areas of the solar system and galaxy. It is the lower realm of existence. Sorry, it is the lowest realm of existence. The life forms of Earth living on the physical realms struggle to process the larger part of a conscious existence. Most of our makeup exists within the mental vital realms of existence, where mental processes are transmitted easily, like the etheric physical realms of existence, and even the upper astral physical realms of existence. On this Earth's gross physical realms of existence, the mental commands are processed the slowest out of all the realms of Earth, solar system, and galaxy. All right, let me pause here to see if there are any questions or comments. Mhm. So again, if anyone has any questions or comments, you can feel free to post them in the chat, and I will pause periodically throughout the reading to address those questions. Okay. The non-metaphysical science on the flow of prana in the mystic prayer. The Jnana Yoga wisdom in intelligent movement in thought and physical actions. There is a Jnana Yoga component where the wisdom of the prayer technique unites the soul with the light of the spirit. Then we have the Bhakti Yoga component, when the technique unites the prayer practitioner with God through devotion. The third component of the prayer technique is the ability known as imagination, which is man's only inherent creative mental faculty. The fourth component is man's ability to visualize. This is a sustaining power of imagination, which requires concentration. Eventually, constant practice of the prayer technique improves on his ability to concentrate. 5. The fifth component of the prayer technique is pranayama, meaning man's ability to control the vital life force within the body through the manipulation of breath and by the control of the main nadi openings, the nose, mouth, ears, and eyes. Sixth, the sixth component of the prayer technique is mudra yoga, which is a series of techniques that allows him to harness, seal, redirect, redistribute, and project a concentrated flow of subtle pranas within and passing through the body. The seventh component of the prayer technique is an invocation, man's ability to verbalize his request to a higher authority, or God, for the all-pervasive subtle energies to flow down through him. The physical invocation impregnates the flow of subtle energies being harnessed and projected by the prayer. And the eighth component of the prayer technique is karma yoga, the power of uniting yourself through a series of balanced actions. Yes. Description is given on each component of the mystic prayer technique over the next several paragraphs. Jnana Yoga, the power of wisdom uniting the soul with spirit, continued. This component of the mystic prayer frames the meaning and power of prayer. The Jnana Yoga of this mystic prayer method is the wisdom used to design the technique. The science of this prayer is a metaphysical science, a technique of prayer that manipulates huge amounts of subtle energies through a series of combined mystical procedures. The mystic prayer technique was designed on a solid and concrete wisdom of several metaphysical sciences and the belief of God as a supreme and absolute being that encompasses everything in the subtle and gross manifestation. A supreme life is life itself, for it is the background signature of all things unmanifested and manifested. Excuse me. It is that vital life force, or prana, that gives life to all things. The recognition of this omnipresence is the jnana wisdom, awakening that makes you realize the all-pervasive power that is within our minds, bodies, and all around us. Jnana Yoga literally means uniting yourself with the wisdom of life. This wisdom awakens man to the endless potential of power within reach of the spirit of man, a divine spark of God, which manifests itself, which manifests its great power through the soul. Applied understanding leads you toward concrete knowledge. At this point, knowledge is digested through experience gained from the application of concrete knowledge, which brings about the various degrees of wisdom. There are many degrees of wisdom, but every level of wisdom brings greater levels of conscious awareness that connects you to God and the unlimited power God manifests throughout the manifested creation. Number 2, Bhakti Yoga. The power of uniting man with God through devotion. The second component of the mystic prayer technique is applying the wisdom received from the jnana aspect in uniting your actions with the Absolute, God, through the practice of deep devotion to God. This devotion increases your connection to the Absolute, thereby purifying you from the impurities trapped within the mind and body. Devotion to God increases the access to the unlimited pranas of God that make up this manifested creation. Under this bhakti action, the practitioner of this prayer will become aware and sensitive to the universal life force called pranayama. True devotion to God comes from a deep respect and understanding of God, which is born from accepting the wisdom, jnana, given to us from the adepts and masters. Devotion to God cannot be experienced without the proper wisdom that lays out the correct laws of karma, which governs our actions mentally, which helps to mold the subtle energies that give life to our physical movement. The wisdom of God's power gives birth to bhakti yoga actions, which manifest themselves as a deep devotion towards God. This deep devotion towards God compels the prayer practitioner to submerge the whole of his mind and feelings into the power connected to God. The mental bodies of man are polluted from all the wrong thoughts and actions of man. The actions of Bhakti Yoga help to purify the mental bodies. One moment. Okay. Therefore, the Bhakti Yoga power of this prayer is the devotional aspect expressed in the demonstration of the prayer. Men with an ingrained belief in God who perform the prayer technique give strength and structure to the prayer, stemming from the deep feelings of love for God and the willpower to express their devotion to God. A correct and deep belief in God through the mystic teachings of Bhakti Yoga helps to do the following. Bhakti Yoga raises the consciousness of man. Bhakti Yoga purifies the auric fields by destroying and replacing the negative samskaras that are embedded within the aura. Bhakti Yoga increases the ability to harness the subtle energies. Bhakti Yoga increases the ability to project the subtle energies of prana. Bhakti Yoga increases and produces greater levels of love energies. These love energies serve to carry or preserve the projected prayer energies from point A, you, to point B, the target. Lastly, the expressed love helps to project the prayer energies and carries them to their target. Love is a preserving energy force within nature. When you love something, your basic instinctive actions are to immediately preserve it, and protected from harm. In this prayer technique, the love energy expressed by the prayer practitioner preserves the power of the prayer in transition to its targets. So develop a greater appreciation and devotion to God, and you will find it easier to express the power of love. All right, let's see if there are any questions. Number 3, Raja Yoga, imagination, man's only creative faculty. The third component of the mystic prayer technique is where the practitioner begins to utilize his or her wisdom, belief, and devotion to God through the power of imagination. The great mystic secret of every human is that imagination is their only creative faculty. Most people on this gross physical realm of existence fail to realize that the mental power of imagination is a creative aspect of man's ability. Imagination is that power that allows us to mold and shape psychic and mental energies into physical results on all the realms of existence. Man's power of imagination is like a magnetic force or device within man's makeup that draws on all the necessary mind substance that is capable of molding all levels of subtle energies, Shakti pranas, into this imaginative framework. When man uses this power of imagination, his aura becomes a conduit where the activities of the imagination take place. The mental level of the proposed imagination will be determined by the content of the imaginative thought patterns. If the imagined thoughts were of a lower nature, then the lower chakras and the auric substance around them are used to produce the thought forms of imagination. If the imagined thoughts were of a higher nature, then the higher chakras and surrounding auric substance will help to produce these thought forms of imagination. The imaginative mold that these subtle energies are magnetically pulled into configures the subtle energies into a vibrational thought pattern that takes on a life of its own within the will and directive to produce a favorable environment to allow the conditions of the imagination to manifest itself. Our imagination is the act of creating something out of mental substance and then manifesting it into the respective realm. When those mental configurations of imaginative energies fall under the perspective laws of the universe, it takes on the shape of the imaginative energies produced by the person willing their imagination, whereby the configuration of the imagination is visualized into the mental, astral, and physical signatures that produce the ideas, which manifest themselves into mental behaviors. These mental behaviors bring about an atmosphere that creates and sustains the objects, which further promotes the imagination. Therefore, man's imagination is the power that initiates, engages, and formulates the mental signatures, which are laced with these mental signatures within the energy patterns and projects them to a specific target. The practitioner of the mystic prayer uses his imagination to draw on the all-pervasive power of prana. The process of imagination is a creative action and is a very powerful one to our benefit when controlled. Imagination creates an explosive action on the psycho-mental levels of the auric fields and the surrounding atmosphere. The explosive action created by imagination on the psycho-mental realms is the creative prana nadi shakti power at play, molding the vital energies of life with mind substance that has been placed into action by the power of imagination. The I am of man is spirit, which is the unmanifested divine spark of God within him. The power that creates manifested life as the I of man, which is the soul. The soul of man is the manifested intelligence of spirit and the force that pulls on the power of spirit to express life. The main creative power of the soul on any level of existence is imagination, which is its ability to attract any frequency of mind substance and vital energies and mold it into the configuration of the images brought about by imagination. The images within imagination have the configurative ability to draw down the karmic pressures necessary to place or force these imaginative directives into operation with the exact amount of applied subtle energies fed to it. The feeding process of imagination takes place through sustained visualization. Raja Yoga. Number 4, Raja Yoga. Visualization, the sustaining power of imagination. Visualization is a sustaining power of imagination. Once the practitioner brings the images of imagination into being, visualization is that component of imagination that powers the creative image. Let us say that the prayer practitioner imagines a flow of subtle energies being harnessed from the upper and surrounding atmosphere. Then he imagines the energies pulled down into his auric structure and so impregnated by the will of the practitioner of the prayer by the spoken words, thoughts, imagination, and visualization generated from the prayer. The power of visualization is that power that sustains the imaginative image and utilizes the image as the tool or machine that pushes the energies through the auric structure as directed prayer energies. The power of visualization is sustained by a prolonged mental concentration that holds the imaginative images in place with its power. As stated earlier, imagination is man's only creative faculty. Imagination as will and desire ignites the energies within the auric structure, which creates an explosive effect in the mental fields of the auric bodies. It creates the necessary seeds needed to bring about the will of the soul through imagination. Concentration is the life-sustaining force that feeds imagination and visualization. The prayer practitioner uses imagination to create a mental conduit or funnel to pull down the subtle cosmic energies, pranas, into its auric structure to be impregnated with the will and desire of the prayer practitioner. Through the organized thoughts focused on the prayer with a balanced formulated prayer, it will naturally take advantage of the karmic laws of the four kinds of vak, sound vibration, which are, for one, para sound, the pure unmanifested soundless sound that represents the will and original intent of the emerging sound as the power that seeds the thoughts and actions with the potentiality that expresses consciousness on multi-level sound through thoughts and audible sound. Number 2, pasyanti sound is the manifested seeds of thought as the unspoken sound, but it represents the first movement of thought consciousness, of the will and original intent making its first expression within the auric structure. Number 3, madhyama sound is the aspect of sound that has fully manifested itself on the subtle mental realms of existence. The imaginative power of the Pada sound's will and original intent is the pressurized signature allowed within the karma framework of the manifested mental thought form and images that shape and mold the auric substance into subtle bodies of operations for multiple realms of consciousness. Number 4, Bakari sound. This aspect of the sound vibration is the gross audible sound capable of manifesting and projecting stored up, impregnated, and configured subtle pranas, mental pranas, and gross pranas. Such is the power of sound, as told to us from the ancient teachings of Mantra Sastra. To state this in simple terms, the mighty sun powers the solar system with the holy sound of AUM. Sound vibrations are the conduit for all power. The consciousness is sound vibrations. The chakras are a series of sound vibrations brought together to create a vortex center of subtle and gross energies. Kundalini is a vehicle of consciousness for the soul that powers the nadi system by sound. All thoughts are some form of sound vibration. Controlled imagination becomes a pure string of power extending from and through the four aspects of sound that becomes a creative force. Imagination is will, intent, organized thought, and visualized thought patterns. It is the creative power that ionizes the auric structure and environment in order to manifest itself. The thing that sustains this flow of pranas through this process is the visualization aspect of imagination. The visualization aspect is sustained by directing thoughts down one continuous channel for a creative purpose and direction. Prolonged directed thought that is focused down one particular channel of thought is known as concentration, which is, as stated earlier, the food or life force for visualization. With the ability or power of concentration, the practitioner of prayer regulates his prana through breath control, or pranayama. Number 5, pranayama, controlling the life force within. Okay, keep going. The technique of pranayama is a method of manipulating. Sorry about that. The technique of pranayama is a method of manipulating subtle energies called prana. In the mystic form of prayer, pranayama is a technique used to enhance the flow of prana. The prana within the body and auric structure are controlled by man through the Ida and Pingala nadis, which are the subtle lines of force that circulate throughout the auric structure and chakra system. The method of controlling the subtle life force is by controlling the flow of breath through the subtle physical vortex openings of Ida and Pingala, which are the left nostril, Ida, and the right nostril, Pingala. The oxygen we breathe feeds the three major systems within the physical body, which are the respiratory system, the circulatory system, and the nervous system. These three main systems allow consciousness to manifest itself on the physical plane of existence. The subtle auric bodies of man are the background power for the mind and physical body. The nadis are extended from the soul's main vehicle of consciousness, called Kundalini, which is the primary source of prana and consciousness. Ida and Pingala move forward from the Muladhara chakra, the home of Kundalini, where the flow of prana is separated into a negative and positive flow of prana. On the intake of breath, there is a subtle flow of prana, which feeds the nadi system, the chakra system, and the mental auric bodies. Therefore, the controlled regulations of breath give you control over prana, pranayama. The proper pranayama technique during the mystic prayer method allows greater control over prana being pulled in and pushed out by the mystic prayer method. Number 6, mudra yoga, sealing, redirecting, and projecting prana. This part of the prayer technique enhances the pull on the subtle flow of prana. Also, it seals the flow of prana within the body while you impregnate the prana with the purpose and direction of the prayer. The sealing of prana not only introduces the purpose and direction, but also helps to concentrate the flow of prana in a specific configuration of mental control. This increases the projection of the prana towards its target. Such is the power of mudra yoga. There are three mudras used in the mystic prayer techniques, which are as follows. 1. Stand erect, facing the east, with the arms down at your side, and hands clenched in a fist position, with the thumbs folded within the fist. This mudra seals and harnesses the pranas within the mental auric structure and body to allow the pranas to be mentally impregnated with the initial intent, purpose, and direction of prayer. 2. After you've mentally called on the pranas and sealed them in the auric mental structure and body, the next mudra yoga technique is designed to help push the subtle energies out of the body. While still standing erect, raise the arms to about chest level with the palms of the hand facing out. The raised arms indicate the point where the arms need to be, as shown in figure 3-2. Wait, no, sorry. No, sorry. The raised arms indicate the point where the arms need to be in order to activate the heart chakra with this mudra technique. This mudra yoga is used to activate and pull down on the mentally impregnated prayer pranas to the heart chakra, along with directed visualization and strong impersonal love energies. The heart chakra is known as the mystic heart region, which is located right in front of the breastbone area. It is also the chakra through which the mentally impregnated prayer energies are launched in a concentrated manner. The prayer practitioner imagines and visualizes a white light leaving this chakra, or psychic center, to the target or purpose of the prayer. At the end of the prayer, the mudra yoga technique used to close out the prayer is as follows. Bring the arms down and brush the palms of the hands together in order to cut off the subtle flow of prana. Mudra yoga is a sacred science and should not be handled in a disrespectful manner or abused, as it ranks at the level of the holy mantras in regards to its importance. In fact, mudra yoga is an aspect of mantra sastra. It is stated in the Tantra and Mantra Sastra ancient teachings that the yogi who achieves spiritual development with the practice of mantra japa, the mudra yoga science is revealed to him through visions, darsana, during his mantra japa practice. Number 7. Invocation, projecting psychic and mental energies into the physical realms. The ability to speak is a direct result of the power of Kundalini manifesting itself on the base, gross physical levels of existence. In fact, the power of speech is the fourth aspect of the nada power that extends from the dormant state of Kundalini within and through the subtle gross bodies of man. All spoken sound is an aspect of nada shakti, or mantric shakti. The tantric teachings tell us that once the shakti power has moved into the involution state of energy configuration, the 3.5 coils sorry, the Tantric teachings tell us that once the Shakti power has moved into an involution state of energy configuration with 3.5 coils, it becomes what we call the power of Kundalini. It then releases a nada power that initiates basic consciousness. This Kundalini power is the instrument of consciousness for the soul of man. Without the power of Kundalini, there's absolutely no life within the body. It is the power and instrument of consciousness that the soul of man uses to manifest itself on several planes of existence in order to gain experience through its many reincarnations, life after life. The dormant state of Kundalini releases a sound vibration, Nada Shakti power, that places aspects of the soul's manifested self-consciousness on these 5 realms of existence. Therefore, the power to invoke sound in a self-conscious state is the manifestation of Kundalini on the physical plane that is used to project this Shakti power into the auric mental fields of other people, places, and things. The spoken word is the manifested mental energies and desires being forced onto the gross mental physical plane of existence to move forward in order to shape and mold the subtle cosmic energies that assist in sustaining the physical plane. When man speaks, the power of his Nada Shakti is expressed on the psychic, mental, and physical realms. In order for sound to manifest physically, it must move through the vortex centers of psychic energies that manifest mental images and produces the signature vibrations of sounds. The vortex centers are the chakras, which are the psychic centers because they are a tremendous subtle flow of pranas that produce the mental images of the mental chatter from the conscious and unconscious mind or mental auric bodies of man. A well-spoken, balanced prayer, with all the above 7 components of the prayer technique, applied correctly in an intense and concentrated manner, produces tremendous power. Speaking with a loud physical voice affects the physical plane of existence. Speaking with a whispered physical voice affects the mental plane of existence. When the tongue is rolled to the back of the mouth and pressed against the roof of the mouth in order to immobilize the tongue, then pure thought is possible and we can affect the psychic realms of existence. Number 8, Karma Yoga. The power of uniting yourself with actions. The energy patterns produced from positive karmic actions are the energy boosters or fuel to strengthen your journey in life. The third physical law of science by Sir Isaac Newton states that every action has an equal and opposite reaction and is known as the law of propulsion. However, about 1700 years before Sir Isaac Newton, there was a man known as the Master Jesus who stated, "As you sow, so shall you reap," which actually means the same thing. Also, about 2300 years before Sir Isaac Newton, there was another man known as the Lord Buddha who stated, "For every action, there is a reaction, and it is opposite but equal." These statements are great descriptions of the divine laws of karma, which are the divine presence of God in action, holding everything together and propelling life forward under the balanced karmic pressures of life. Every thought and action of man becomes the stored energy of experience that becomes the guiding points of all present and future actions. The combination of all man's thoughts and actions are built on the personalities framed out of the restrictions of past thoughts and actions of man's own conscious awareness. Karma is the framework of laws that govern creation. Therefore, all actions operate within this framework of the divine laws of karma. This karma is the pressurized force that makes all manifested mind, energies, and matter conform to the divine laws of God. This force is that pressure that exerts itself from the highest level to the smallest level. Every action has a reaction, and that reaction causes another action, which creates a reaction, which creates a never-ending chain of cause and effect. This never-ending chain of constant cause and effect brought about by our thoughts and actions writes the karmic patterns that we live through in order to experience life as we know it. When talking about karmic actions, the following should be considered. All mental activities, which are thoughts, emotions, inspirations, and all physical actions, which are conscious actions, semi-conscious actions, and unconscious actions that lead to all physical movement. Each action releases an energy pattern that places a positive or negative pressure on all present and future actions. It is like adding extra weight or energies to yourself. The energy patterns that manifest themselves as extra weight are the negative karmic pressures designed by the law of God to limit your options and access to energy supplies. The positive actions serve as energy boosters that propel you towards your goals in life. The mystic prayer technique is a series of ultra positive actions when used correctly for spiritual service. Karmically, this technique of mystic prayer will not only allow you, the practitioner, the opportunity to be of greater service, but also assist you in burning up negative karma. All right. And that completes chapter 3 and our preview of the miracle kit behind the power of prayer, the mystic knowledge of manipulating the subtle and cosmic energies of prana through prayer techniques. Again, the text is available for purchase via Amazon or the publisher. What's the publisher's name again? Exlibitus? Exlibitus? I don't know how to pronounce the publisher's name, which you can get at Amazon. So now we will move into a couple of diagrams that illustrate the eight major components of the prayer technique. So everything we just read, but condensed into diagrams in a few sentences. But before we go into that, are there any questions? Or are there any comments or anything you'd like to add, Nehemiah?
No, not right now. Uh, I noticed I should have said something in the book about when you read an imagination. I guess we could talk about it later though,
Okay.
if someone wanted to. That's about it.
All right, so next let's go into a couple of diagrams. And as I'm looking through it now, probably in future, we'll make kind of like an addendum or an accompaniment, or maybe even like a study guide. Yeah, the study guide would be cool. Study guide to accompany the books. So like the first text, the ancient knowledge of the soul, we could make, and then for this text, the mystic prayer technique, the miracle side, the miracle prayer, miracle kit prayer technique, we could probably put together um, some diagrams as a study guide to help accompany the material. Uh, and that will probably come in a course in the future. I'm thinking about it in a future course, which references the books. We'll put together study guide material to go along with it. But the eight major components of the mystic prayer technique. So we looked at them in detail. Let's take a look at it illustrated. So here on the left, we have a non-intelligent platform. And it is through this non-intelligent synchronized movement platform, we have the eight components. The Nani intelligence is used as a platform for designing the mystic prayer technique. The Nani Yoga platform is built to bring together cooperative balance for the following yoga sciences to work in unison on this Nana platform. To see if we have one, Karma Yoga, 2, Bhakti Yoga. 3, Raja. 4, Pranayama. 5, Mantra. 6, Mudra. And Kriya. Here. 2, the mystic prayer technique is designed to follow all the basic laws of karma, to perfectly push and promote the flow of subtle cosmic energies, prana, in a natural and balanced fashion. Number 3, the main component of the mystic prayer technique is bhakti yoga. The practitioner of this mystic prayer method adopts a frame of mind that we believe and operate in a sea of mind and power. Number 4, the science and knowledge of Raja Yoga enhances the part of the mystic prayer method where we use our imagination and visualization. Number 5, the pranayama techniques assist the mystic prayer method with manipulating subtle cosmic energies. Regulation of breath is also the regulation of the energies through the nadi system. Number 6, mantra is a trigger mechanism for purifying and balancing subtle cosmic energies entering the auric structure. Mantra calibrates the chakra system to the point that it places the aura into spin that helps to unclog the aura and nadis. Number 7, mudra yoga is a series of techniques that uses the head, arms, hands, and legs and feet to align the subtle cosmic energies that we are pulling into the auric structure with the mystic prayer technique. Number 8, Kriya Yoga. Kriya Yoga is the yoga for designing a series of right actions to promote the emotional, mental, psychic, and spiritual development for human well-being. I want to point out here that although in the text itself, when we're talking about the 8 components, the Kriya is not mentioned by name. It is included as a component and is within the 8 components. So don't let that be a point of confusion for you. Actually, no, I'm wrong. Kriya Yoga is mentioned in the text. I'm sorry. I had to think back and look over it. Kriya Yoga is mentioned as when I was reading right now. We closed on Karma Yoga, but that it does. Uh, Kriya Yoga is mentioned as one of the 8 components. All right. Oops, sorry, moving around too much. Let me zoom out a bit. So again, let's look at those same 8 components, but represented in a different style to help us better understand the elements of the mystic prayer technique. So again, here we have the Jnana Yoga Intelligent Synchronization Moving Platform, represented as the base or foundation of the pyramid. And then from there, we move up to number 2, Karma Yoga and Bhakti Yoga. At the next level, we have the Raja Yoga and Pranayama. Then we have Mantra, or the triggering mechanism, and Mudra, a series of techniques for manipulating the subtle flow of cosmic and manipulating the flow of subtle cosmic energies. Then we have Kriya Yoga, and all this together, this entire platform here, this entire pyramid here, is the mystic prayer technique and the intelligent synchronizing intelligent signature that is used into goes into the creation of the technique. All right. And now finally, we'll take a look at the at a technical diagram on techniques for projecting prayer energies. So although we're talking about prayer, this, as was also mentioned in the text, um, or we're talking about the application of prayer through the manipulation of subtle energies, this technique can also be used uh, for any purpose in which you wish to manipulate subtle energies and project subtle energies. In some earlier pages, in the same diagram, we talk about um, for contact healing and for absentee healing, which is an application of the manipulation and projection of subtle cosmic energies. But for the purposes of this discussion, we're just specifically focusing on prayer. So let's start with the number one, the mystic prayer technique has an intelligent design that uses the ancient wisdom of the masters and the great paths of yoga. This knowledge gives design, operation, direction, and purpose under the laws of karma. Number two, the mind energies used to build and design the mental configuration that holds the stream of energies together in motion is a result of the great wisdom placed into action by the mystic technique of prayer. Number three, the subtle energies are impregnated by the mental intelligent released by the mental intent, sorry, released by the spoken words of the well-balanced and formulated prayer being performed with great spiritual reverence and controlled passion to the target with purpose and direction towards the choice target. Number four, the spiritual reverence and controlled passion is brought about by the power of love, the great preservation energy of nature. This love energy preserves the projected pranas from point A, U, to point B, the target. A look at the prayer mudra technique. So we described this in the text, but now we're looking at illustrations. The lifting of the arms is indicated in the picture in the mudra yogic technique that helps to activate a flow of energy towards the heart chakra and allows a clear channel to push this prayer energy through. The mystic prayer technique uses a mudra yoga procedure to seal, redirect, and redistribute the prayer power generated and configured with direction and purpose towards a person, place, or thing. The mudra allows you to stand or sit down in an erect manner with the spine always straight. So although we're talking about prayer specifically in this discussion, uh, this technique or this mudra technique is used to manipulate subtle energies in uh, in many practices. In fact, you'll see this technique itself is used. This mudra is used during Operation Prayer Power. You have two teams. You have the mantra team and you have the prayer team. The mantra team uses this mudra, with the exception of opening of the eyes, to radiate energy. Their energy invoked through the repetition of mantra towards the prayer team. And the prayer team uses another mudra to for dual purpose to gather the energy being projected by the prayer team, by the mantra team, and to direct that energy into a collection device, be it a battery or remote or what have you. Prayer projection diagram. So here you have an illustration of the mudra technique and an illustration of the projected prayer energies. Now, the subtle energies or pranas being projected through a mystic technique of prayer that uses several ancient forms of yoga to achieve this concentrated projection of these subtle energies, prana. The prayer practitioner uses mind energies to mold, shape, and hold the flow of prayer energies together in order to project this stream of impregnated subtle energies out to its target. The mind energies introduce purpose and direction into the flow of prayer power. The mind energies within the flow of prana act as a design specification for the prayer energy being projected. In other words, what we're taught to do when we're utilizing the prayer technique is to visualize the white light being projected out of the palms of the hands and the heart center. And this is an illustration of, if you could, I guess, psychically see the energy being projected of what it could look like. Uh, the love energies introduced into the projected flow of prayer energies, having a preserving effect on the prayer energies being projected. These elevated love energies preserves the flow of prayer energies power from point A, the one performing the prayer, and to point P, the target of the prayer energies. Okay. Let me see if there's any questions. No? All right. Again, this is illustrating um, the information or the techniques that was described briefly in the third chapter of the book that we just read. In subsequent chapters, more detail and information is given uh, on the prayer technique itself. I believe an entire chapter is dedicated solely to the prayer technique. Analyzing the prayer mudra, the mystic prayer method for pulling down and projecting prana. Right? So this triangle of white light energy being uh, coming down represents the subtle flow of energies pulled on by the mental control of concentrated imagination and visualization of the practitioner of prayer. All right, so we're taught in the 12 blessings practice, for example, within the opening practices, we are instructed or taught to visualize a white light coming down from the earth, from the atmosphere, down to our heads, all the way down to the heart center, which is illustrated here, this white dot, the heart chakra, the heart center. And it is that white light that we project through the palms of the hands and the heart center. Uh, Imagination and visualization is what is used to invoke or call upon, sustain, and project out that energy. Now we come to the 2 points on the palms, representing the psychic centers in the hands. This represents the major chakras in the palms of the hand, where we project the impregnated energies with purpose and direction. Here at the heart center, that circle represents another major chakra located at the heart chakra, where we also project the impregnated energies with purpose and direction. The prayer practitioner imagines and visualizes a white light leaving this psychic center to the target or purpose that you are praying for. An important point that Nehemiah and also George King stresses when we were learning the prayer technique is that we use always project from the heart center, which is a few inches in front of the breastbone, but not directly the physical heart or the heart chakra. We always use the heart center. And next we come to the horizontal line below the raised arms. Indicate the point where the arms need to be in order to activate the heart chakra. This is a mudra that is used to activate the heart chakra in order to radiate the prayer energies effectively. Now, this is important because sometimes you'll see it's important to raise the hands at that level because, again, we're activating the heart chakra and it is specific to the mudra. And this mudra can be performed, as mentioned earlier, standing up or seated. Either is fine. This here is a graph, the secret to personal prayer formula. We'll go into this in more detail at a later time, probably before we take a look at um, uh, the the examples of prayer, prayer for spiritual workers and New Lord's Prayer. But there is a chapter, excuse me, in the book that talks about utilizing the mystic prayer technique um, for personal prayer and goes into detail about the formula of personal prayer. So we may cover this at a later time, but it was described in the text, specifically when we're talking about the components, like the Bhakti Yoga component and the Raja Yoga component and Dhyana component. So briefly, we'll talk about here is we'll describe here is step one, you have the recognition of God, which leads to step two, honest confession before God. And this is where you strip yourself bare through your confession to God. And step three, you have an appeal to God for help. Appeal to God for help, strength, courage, and determination to tune into the God essence within. And step four, change in the light of this appeal. Demonstrate your belief in God by initiating the change under the appeal you made to God. And then step five, the second key is surrender yourself to the will of God essence within. Dr. George King has a lecture entitled My Secret to Personal Prayer, in which he releases this formula and goes into detail about the efficacy of the formula and how he derived and came up with this formula. All right. All right. And thus concludes our review of our preview of the Miracle Kit of Prayer. The Miracle Kit behind the power of prayer, the mystic knowledge of manipulating the subtle and cosmic energies of prana through prayer manipulation. Again, the text is available for purchase. You can pick it up via Amazon or the publisher website. And there's also the first book, authored and released by Mr. Nehemiah Davis, The Ancient Language of the Soul, The Mystic Knowledge of Mantra. An entire reading of this book is available on our YouTube channel. I think it's in the study sessions playlist. I have to go back and check. But I read the entire book over, what was it? I think 12 or 13 weeks, maybe a little longer than that. Let me see. I think it was one. Let's see, there's 12 chapters here. Maybe it was 13 or 14 weeks. I know some chapters I did over a couple sessions. But I read the entire book as well as spent a couple sessions posing questions to the author himself. And you can go back and check out that playlist, where we read through the Ancient Language of the Soul. You're also welcome to pick up a copy for yourself. So both books are currently available. And if you're ever in the South Florida area and would like to uh, meet with the author himself and, maybe have lunch or uh, get his autograph, you can send us an email and we'll organize that for you. And just give us some time to respond back to you and coordinate everything. And we can take care of that for you. So as a reminder, there will be no class uh, next week, Sunday, July the 7th. But the very next day, that Monday is July 8th, we'll be holding our Prime Initiation of Earth commemoration service for the entire day. But we will pick back up on July 14th with a study of, we'll begin a study of the New Lord's Prayer, the prayer for spiritual workers, and then we should close everything up by the 28th. And that'll be our final class in this session, this series on prayer. We'll open the floor for any questions, comments, and any final items we wish to cover. All right, so are there any final questions or comments or anything you'd like to add, Nehemiah, before we close out today?
No, unless someone has a question. To you, you think the first three chapters went all right? Flow?
Yes, I think so. Um, there were a couple of points of confusion, um, not in the material itself, but in the layout. Like I think after we finished the table,
Uh-huh.
it kind of went right into another list, and that I was a little confused. I wasn't sure what that list was for, but then it makes sense further on. I think that may need to be
I think it was
shifted around.
brief and then more expansive.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I have a problem with that. So instead of going back, expanding the brief, I just open up another section to go deeper into it.
Hmm. Okay, so if there are no questions, let us close out today's session reciting the New Lord's Prayer. If my Zoom will work. There we go. The New Lord's Prayer. O divine and wondrous Spirit, O everlasting Lord of hosts, send forth now through me thy great and lasting power. Allow me, Almighty God, the lasting privilege of radiating to all the world thy great love, so that those who suffer may be given the power and energy to rise above their weaknesses. Almighty God, in great humility do I ask you to send forth your power, to give to me this great lasting privilege of being a channel, so that my suffering brothers may be helped and guided and healed and lifted into thy light, so that they who know not may look up, and in doing so receive to their higher selves your divine counsel. Almighty God, this day have you granted me a divine privilege. I ask you now to give to me the strength so that never again will I turn from my inner vision of you. O great peace, great peace, great peace. In praise of your greatness, O God, doth my soul sing. Grant it energy to sing on forever and forever. All right. Thank you very much, everyone, for your kind attendance and participation. If you have any questions or comments that you'd like us to address, you can feel free to email us at Mystic Knowledge Center, all one word, at gmail.com. And do let us know in your question if you're comfortable with us addressing the question publicly in a future session. Uh, please state so. Otherwise, we will reply to respond to your question privately. Again, there will be no class next week, July 7th, for we will be celebrating our Prime Initiation of Earth commemoration on the next day, Monday, July 8th. And then we will come back the following Sunday, July 14th, which will be for us within the new year. So to Ethereal Society's members, if we don't see you or hear from you by then, until then, before then, Happy New Year.
Stay
Thank you
on
very much,
for a minute.
everyone, and have a wonderful week. Take care.
Stay on for a minute, Dwayne.
Okay.